22nd, right? January 22nd. Business and social. Big social section this week because of happenings.
It's not that big.
It's bigger than we've had recently. Sometimes we almost cut social entirely the last couple months.
Yeah, it's always just the same garbage. It's like, it's bad for you, don't do it.
But also there's a lot of social media push this week on like how good the economy is and how everybody's doing great. And then you look around and it's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like the social media people, like they went from supporting one presidential regime and immediately flip-flopped. So now they're like, we're changing the economy, but it's still great. But maybe there are some signs that it's not so great for you. I mean, yeah, a line is going up because we have a revolutionary technology. But what about your personal line?
Microsoft pauses its hiring in U.S. consulting unit as part of its cost-cutting plan, according to this memo. That's sort of weird, isn't it? It's like, Remember
they spent like $80 billion to bring on the robots.
Yeah.
But we don't have any money left for the people.
That's strange.
And it's a bit of a trend, maybe.
Meta cutting roughly 5% of its staff, targeting its lowest performers. Now, this one really was baffling because they are doing record revenue. They're doing gangbusters on revenue. But they just said, this is part of our standard call. We're just getting rid of the bottom 5%. Feel bad for that bottom 5%.
And it turns out that there is a phrase which describes getting rid of those useless people and replacing them with robots.
The Wall Street Journal calls that cost avoidance. So the term that is now popping up in corporate memos is avoiding the cost, and they mean of people. That's an AI buzzword for holding down the headcount.
Which is exactly what everybody seems to be doing right now.
We also are entering this unfortunate scenario where a middle tier person that is really good with AI, that like embraces banging their head against AI, versus somebody that is higher level but maybe doesn't engage with AI as much, is not quite as productive as the mid-tier person that engages with AI. And I don't know what that is going to do toward developing like the next wave of innovators, because once that really talented person like pushes through and gets the Zen-like understanding and they go to an even higher tier, that's when magic things happen. But if everybody is stuck, with the other tier, it's like, will the same kinds of things happen? Will the person that can just ask AI develop that Zen-like understanding of what's going on? I don't know.
Will they ever learn how to articulate their thoughts and understand why they do things the way they do? Maybe not if they've only ever relied on an AI to do it.
I don't know. It could be bad. I don't know.
Well, one thing is for sure, it is going to take the bargaining power away from the worker.
JPMorgan faces staff backlash after the return to office mandate. A lot of companies are using the return to office mandate as a stealth layoff, though.
February 16th or so, they have decided everybody is back in the office at JPMorgan. Even the robots. Nah, they're in the cloud. And if you think like, well, this ain't going to affect me, I'm special. Well, how special are you?
Even Harvard M.B.A.s are struggling to land jobs. The latest crop of elite business school graduating people are taking months to find new jobs.
Turns out that's a job that AI is really good at.
Being an MBA?
Just business in general. Figuring out how to reduce the headcount. It's easy
Just
for a
get rid
robot.
of the people.
Yeah. And again, not everybody is suffering. It turns out that a very few companies and people are really killing it in the AI wave.
Taiwan chipmaker TSMC says net profit rose 57% in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they're making a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff.
And they have orders, I'm sure, until like 2028 backed up. That is not going away. But when it comes time for you to sell your home and go live in the woods, there is one convenience that you will still have.
Starlink is now cheaper than the leading internet provider in some African countries.
Also in my neighborhood.
In Ghana, Starlink is half the price of the local ISP, and probably a better service.
The big outlier here, this chart's crazy. Zimbabwe. That's got to be like official exchange rate versus black market, right? Like they're just not admitting that the currency is completely devalued.
Or maybe nobody is allowed to have internet in Zimbabwe except for the elites. I don't know.
But no, they get look at the price of the regular kind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what you're saying is Starlink could offer $20 a month access in New York City, although not everybody has a view of the sky.
I don't know.
That was
It's
the
just-
argument against Arrow. You remember Arrow? It's like, oh, it doesn't matter that Arrow pulls signals from the air to send it to people over the internet. Not everybody in New York City has a window. It's just like, geez, that's depressing.
Well, they should become digital nomads. Oh, wait. You're not allowed to do that anymore. And some other, the technical revolution, there are some people who are going to benefit from it, whether they have jobs or not. And those are the people who are completely destroyed physically, and it might give them a lifeline.
Musk says Neuralink implanted a third patient with a brain device that has improvements and learnings from the first two. So we'll see how this goes. Also, was this the article that Musk said he sees thousands of patients having this within a couple of years?
He predicted for 2025, 20 to 30 more. So we're going to go from 2 or 3 to 30.
And then like the end of 2027 was like thousands.
Is this going to be full self-driving?
They also have, they're working on that blind sight product where if you're blind, they can literally just pop a chip in you and you can see on some level. The horrible wildfires, I think they're kind of under control at this point, right?
They've had more windstorms, I think. So, like, that's the problem. Is like every time it kind of calms down again, another windstorm comes up and blows it around.
Well, you can't escape footage of it, and it is dramatic, and it's interesting to watch. But if you are creating that footage, maybe be a little more careful.
Canadian Super Scooper plane grounded after hitting a civilian drone over Los Angeles wildfires. It was a DJI drone, but it was one of the 249-gram ones. It damaged the wing. It hit the wing pretty much head on. The 249-gram ones are supposed to, that's the weight limit the FAA set so that, it's supposed to cause minimal damage. But it took a pretty good chunk out of the wing, and it grounded the plane for a little while.
And they ground all the planes because they didn't know what happened, and they were worried. So that meant that all firefighting by plane stopped for a series of hours just because of this drone. Which makes this headline even more of a head-scratcher. I suppose they planned this beforehand, but...
What a bad time to release. Their marketing department is scrambling right now.
The Verge's headline says DJI will no longer stop drones from flying over airports, wildfires, and the White House. So these were this was actually just the drones larger than 249 grams. They're smart enough to know where they are, and so they would say, "Hey, this is a no-fly zone." They wouldn't fly. But the ones that are under that weight limit, they don't even have a transponder. And so all of this is saying, hey, law enforcement has shown that they can track the drones are there, and that they can listen to the transponder, and they can track down who owns it. There's a registry. So we don't think it makes sense to prevent an operator from operating over somewhere they shouldn't be if law enforcement is able to identify individuals and do that. But it wouldn't have mattered in the water plane incident.
Well, we had the Switch 2 was announced. I guess we saw the first pictures of it. I didn't include a story because I don't think that anybody should talk about Nintendo. I think we should ignore them as a society because they're awful. And this is one of the reasons that they're awful. And someone made an admission that they got a stern email afterwards for saying this.
After shutting down several popular emulators, Nintendo admits that emulation is legal, but the emulator developers are still walking a tightrope. This is largely thanks to Bleem and the original PlayStation emulation that in Nintendo's, like, their lawyers and everybody else is like, well, it's pretty well established in case law. But Nintendo was still quite effective at shutting them down.
And it's because the copyright holders can do whatever they want. And often they want to do lots of things.
Telegram shuts down Z Library and Anna's archive channels over copyright infringement. These were Russian origin places primarily that had tons of ebooks, everything basically. One of the data sets from this is what Zuckerberg got in trouble for using in training Meta's AI, maybe.
Well, that's the websites. But the Telegram channels were very, very careful not to mention the website. They didn't link to it. They never linked to any of the pages on the website. They just made announcements about it, like, new versions or whatever. And didn't matter. They said, this might lead to copyright infringement. We must destroy you. And they did.
Not even that it does, just might.
The chance is all they need. And AI, we're getting to the point where it's like, it's amazing and everybody likes it, but do I really want to pay you a monthly fee for it? And Microsoft says, let's remove that thought from your head.
Microsoft tests a 45% Microsoft 365 price hike in the Asia Pacific region to see how much you enjoy AI. There's going to be some pissed off company that dumps a ton of money into researching open source alternatives. But right now, Microsoft's basically holding the business world hostage.
So that'll be an extra like $50 if you want. Now they're still going to sell the other version, but can you imagine how much they'll hide that?
Yeah.
They're like how many dark patterns you're going to have to gauntlet through.
Last year, you were saying it would cost me this much extra if I wanted the AI options. This year, you say that the AI is free, but the new price is the old price plus what you were going to charge me extra last year. That's really weird. Why are you doing that?
And Oracle used to be a software company. Now they are a trademark and patent company, and they do not let them go.
Oracle refuses to yield a JavaScript trademark, Deno Land says. It's like, hey, enough things are like implement the ECMAScript standard. Like you should probably just let go of JavaScript. And Oracle's like, nope, that's ours. We're going to hang on to that.
Interestingly, they pointed out Node.js in their legal paperwork is like, look, it's JavaScript and it's, it's a valid thing. And they were like, you don't own that. Why are you telling us about that?
Oops.
And WordPress, my God, the dumpster fire that is WordPress, and it's only getting worse.
Matt Mullenweg deactivates WordPress contributor accounts over alleged fork plans. So these were developers getting together to say, hey, WordPress is open source. We're going to create a fork of WordPress from the open sourceness that's not called WordPress because we don't like how it's being led. And he said, no. They can still do it. Now it's just going to be slightly harder. Very slightly. It's kind of petty.
Yeah.
Kinda.
That's dramatically petty.
It's exactly what you don't want in charge of open source, which is often the case, right?
Yeah.
The worst people get into positions of power because they're manipulative, and then they hold it hostage.
The people that need to be in charge don't want to be in charge very often. Like the best people for leading those kind of projects, you really have to go to them and be like, look, I'm sorry that you have to be the person to lead this, but you're going to have to do this. And they're like, I don't want to do that.
Please don't make me people.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen the TikTok alternative called three different
RedNote.
RedNote and something else red. No one seems to know the exact translation of it.
Or are those different apps? I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, but whatever it is, it's so popular that people are now, the ban of TikTok seems to have triggered this like social movement that's like, no, we love China.
Duolingo sees a 216% spike in U.S. users learning Chinese amid TikTok ban and a move to RedNote.
I've seen posts where, like, I guess the native Chinese users on RedNote or whatever the service is, where they'll see, like, the influx of Americans, like, posting in English, and they'll be like, post a picture of your cat, and it becomes like a feedback meme.
Because they don't have cats? Is that the
I don't know. It's just like, well, you're on our app, so you have to post a picture of your cat to prove you're real.
Well, yeah, apparently everybody's going with these three to navigate the new Chinese app because they don't want to stop that addiction.
I was thinking, let's just pause here for a second. Like, let me just lay this out here for you. What if all of this like anti-China stuff and the TikTok thing going on? I mean, there is some like shenanigans in the app controlling the data. That probably is all happening. But what if you're China and you're looking at things as like, we're awfully dependent on a lot of things in the rest of the world. Why don't we motivate our people to like our homegrown products and homegrown stuff more? How do we do that? I know, let's poison the well of the other thing that they like. And then when Americans just do like the dumbest thing possible, it's like the other people that's like, oh, wait, those people are actually like really dumb. Maybe we should, do more homegrown stuff. And it motivates like the local industry to take off and do things. Because here, it hasn't been that at all. It's like, there's all this stuff that's made overseas. We should bring manufacturing back and figure out how to, like, manufacture smartly and use robots and do stuff and, like, be a better version of ourselves. And we have failed that catastrophically. Meanwhile, in China, maybe they are being a better version of themselves.
Or maybe that's what they want you to see when you download this new TikTok app.
There's almost no chance of that.
Well, they are going to make their own chips, which is an improvement over what it was 5 years ago.
There's also almost no chance that you will ever get away with making a product that's better than Rockstar's product if you are using their game to make it. They will not tolerate it.
Huge GTA 5 Liberty City mod allegedly shut down by Rockstar. And the post on the Discord was so sad. It was like, they just asked us to stop. So we did. We got no hard feelings. I mean, it is.
I would have hard
Their
feelings.
thing. We stopped. This is just Rockstar behaving badly. Rockstar should have said, like, here is the legal agreement you need to sign with us to protect our intellectual property. It's going to cost you $5. Go team.
No, but they want to
They want
Yeah.
to cut of
re-release.
it.
Yeah.
No, they want to re-release because this moved the city from a previous game into the current engine. They want to do that themselves at some point.
Oh, and then make you
Rockstar
pay.
is literally stepping over $100 bill to pick up a dollar bill in doing that. Like, yes, they could make a few $1,000,000 doing that, but from the goodwill and doing something else that is even more large scale, they would have made so much more money. But they are dumb.
That's weird because I remember Valve used to encourage people to make their own maps. So like there was one in Left 4 Dead.
Gaben knows the way.
I think it was what's it called, Cold Creek or something like that. That was a fan made map, and they liked it so much they actually implemented it into the game.
That goes back to Doom.
Yeah.
Doom. We started making our own maps in Doom, and they were fine with it because it extended the life of their product.
Famously, one of id's publishers did not like that, and id bought themselves or something. Like there was a bit of a spat with that. I don't remember the details, but the publisher was like, "No, what are you doing? And we can do." And I was like, "No, this is for gamers." The game and Valve made so much more money, and id Software made so much more money, just letting the enthusiasts be enthusiasts.
Well, those of you who were big fans of Wii tennis might be a gateway into actual tennis now, if that's the kind of thing that you're into.
Australia Open Avatar is helping tennis reach a new audience. Is this okay?
So, with I guess AI and modern processing, there's only a 5-minute delay between the live tennis and their weird 3D animated model version of the same game, which allows them to broadcast this and not violate their license.
This reminded me of the AI-generated Seinfeld episode. Do you remember that? It's like somebody was streaming to Twitch as like a fully generated something that was vaguely similar to AI or vaguely similar to Seinfeld, but it was 100% AI-generated. That was oddly hypnotic. It was like you just couldn't look away.
I like we get the
Like a
AI
train
ball
wreck.
girl back there too. Do you think she consented to that? And yeah, how much freedom do you have on social media? Well, it depends on who you're making mad.
The EFF headline is platforms systematically removed a user because he made the most wanted CEO playing cards, which is kind of similar to, what was it, the video game playing cards? Or no, it was the Al Qaeda playing cards. Yeah, so like
We've
Jeff
had
Bezos.
them in every major U.S. war.
Yeah.
It's like a propaganda type thing.
So they didn't just ban him. Like he
They
really,
didn't have to be designed that well. They kind of go hard.
he really was systematically deplatformed. Like banks stopped processing his transactions. I mean, this is like a Cards Against Humanity type thing, but we can't have this, and so he can't sell products that have nothing to do with this. He has basically been deplatformed. So when we complain about central bank digital currency, that's this. This person is no longer able to make money because all the companies decided, I don't think we want to support this.
And that would have been a huge product too.
Yeah.
It made a lot of money.
You should just release it for free and see how angry they get.
They'd probably still try to do something, right?
Yeah.
He was visited by law enforcement as well.
Yeah, that's the scariest thing. And not FBI, it was local cops. Like, there's no crime there. Why are you at my house?
Intimidate.
Because my masters told me to come to your house.
Yeah.
Hide your dog.
Yeah, seriously. And moving over to social media, Blue Sky, I guess people care. I don't.
Blue Sky is getting its own unfortunately named photo sharing app, Flashes.
And it will be used similar to the more traditional version of that, I bet a lot.
I shall call it Hot Flashes.
Oh. Oh. Marketing really just nosediving with those names.
And Meta has decided that there will be no more fact checking. They'll be moving to community notes. And don't worry, this has nothing to do with Donald Trump and then flip flopping all that. Nothing to do with it. Although there is one weird thing about it.
Meta says, wait, we're not ending fact checks outside the U.S. yet. Because the European Union apparently lost their mind. And they said, no, we're still gonna
Brazil.
do fact check. And
Brazil really went crazy and they're like, what?
I've seen some. Yeah, so I still have a Facebook account that I use mostly for Marketplace, but I do see posts on there, and I've seen a lot of posts lately that have been like Mark Zuckerberg pregnant with dog, or like just like really absurd, crazy things, because now they can't be tagged as misinformation.
Is he carrying the baby or is the dog?
He's carrying the baby.
Oh, okay.
He's pregnant with the dog baby,
Well, see,
per the meme I saw.
In the podcast, though, Zuckerberg said that he's going to try to implement something that's similar to community notes. I thought that was live already. Like
Not
Musk.
that I've seen, but
So
Yeah, that's definitely the plan.
yeah.
Which I think that is a better system. I mean,
Yeah.
that whole like the corporate fact checking is obviously biased.
yeah.
I've seen posts on Twitter that have both community notes from both sides, and it's amazing because it's like.
But I
somebody
like that.
I
Yeah.
like that
Both
too.
sides of
That's
it.
the same reason I like to, like back in the day when you'd go to a news site and they had a comment section. It was actually interesting, it used to be, to read the comments and see different sides of an issue. Now it's
But-
mostly people arguing, but
I mean, you read the mainstream news stories about that; they are all one-sided.
yeah.
It's all.
Or they don't have comments on it at all anymore. Comments aren't a thing.
No, wait about this.
Oh.
They're all. This is like horrible. Think about all the protected groups that are going to get murdered because Mark Zuckerberg has made this decision. Like you're only getting one side, so I'd rather have both.
I think also just the volume, like the number of words for those kinds of things is frustrating because think about like the tractor story that we covered on Monday. It's like, this is a lot of words. At the end of the day, I have a tractor. I'm smart enough to work on my tractor. I can get parts to a certain extent for my tractor. I would like to be able to repair my tractor. This is not any more complicated than that. It does not require more words or more explanation or anything like. I want to be able to fix my tractor. How hard is that to it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Any more complication than that
Means you have crops rotting in the field.
well, it's also a kind of deception. It's a kind of horror. It's visited upon someone that is designed to exhaust them. And so many components of our modern life is designed to exhaust you into compliance when at the end of the day it is, I just want to fix my tractor.
So you think most people should communicate with a lot less words?
Yeah, including me.
Meta has decided that some people should get 0 words.
Meta is blocking links to decentralized Instagram competitor Pixelfed because it could get popular and that would be a problem for them.
And it's totally open source. And that guy claims that venture capital is just beating down his door and he's not having any of it.
Yeah, this is the future, chat. It was like folks like us getting together and just being like, I'm tired of, trying to have a conversation with this thing when I just want to post pictures.
And Mark Zuckerberg, he is having this epiphany. It turns out he was wrong all along. He just didn't know. No one told him.
Zuckerberg on Rogan, Facebook's censorship was something out of 1984. I had no idea.
Is he wearing a shirt with his own name on it?
Oh my God.
That's pathetic.
I think it says it Zucks.
But that's sugar, right?
Is it? Yeah, Zucker. Yeah.
In German, yeah. Yeah, I think.
So maybe it's something to do with that. He just found that shirt. I don't know.
Or he had it custom made, which is
Well, I got to say, his emotion chip is working out fantastically well the last couple of years. He seems so much more human.
in an unfortunate sort of way, though.
And when it comes to social media stunts and clout chasing, there's nothing that people won't do. And apparently other people are like, yeah, I'll just go along with that.
Court annuls marriage because the bride thought it was just an Instagram stunt and not real.
Did she sign all the paperwork? Like, you have to sign like quite a bit of paperwork.
It was forged. This was a citizenship scam. So he was like, they were dating. They were like legitimately dating. And he was like, hey, I'm going to do a publicity stunt on Instagram. And I need a wife for this wedding. And since we're dating, I thought it'd be weird if it was another woman. So I just want you to do it. And he forged her name. And it worked until she figured it out.
How do you figure that out? Do you think like you
She
go to City
was-
Hall to do something and it's like, oh, Mrs. Whatever, like
No, she was getting a job. And I think it was like insurance or something. And he was like, oh, put me down as a dependent. And she was like, what? No, we're not really married. And then it all came around.
I missed this one somehow. When I clicked this link, it took me to CNN, a story about like orphans in Ghana.
and you were like, oh, it's kind of heavy for the social media section.
Maybe like sometimes when you scroll on these sites, it changes the URL. It's so annoying.
I was like, that's a weird one but okay.
Yeah. Is that Xiaohongshu? whatever it is, it's red something, and people love it.
U.S. TikTok users flock to Chinese app Xiaohongshu in protest for TikTok ban with a looming TikTok ban. Something.
And they don't like them. They don't want us there. They claim that it's ruining the experience.
That's the one where they said that they're trying to cordon off all the what was it, all the TikTok refugees. There was a hilarious name for it. Oh, RedNote may wall off TikTok refugees to prevent U.S. influence on Chinese users. Yeah.
So you might get a tag on your account.
It's American.
Yeah.
There's a thread on Reddit where people are posting the pictures. The thing that got them banned from RedNote the fastest, and my favorite one is the guy that posted the chicken nuggets with a French fry on top of them, shaped roughly like the tanks in Tiananmen Square. So they said they were banned within 5 minutes.
It's got to be a stressful day for the censors.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is just a chicken nugget with a fry on top of it. Oh, there's 3 of them in a row. Oh, there's a fry by itself in front of the nuggets. Oh, I see what's going on here.
This is the most American thing I've ever seen.
Also, probably tough for Winnie the Pooh fans who are looking to switch over.
Yeah. No fandom spaces for Winnie the Pooh.
Oops. Tell us your experiences on the red whatever.
If nothing else, it's amusing. I'm not planning on getting an account, but I do love seeing how other people are reacting to it.
Yeah, that's the problem with social media, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to be a voyeur and get sucked into it.
But just don't make the account.
Yeah, but you're still consuming it.
That's true.
You're being influenced.
No, I'm not. I'm so smart.
You're an influencee.
I just want a community for tractor repair. How hard is this?
It's pretty hard.
Well, I mean, considering that John Deere would probably have you killed.
Yeah. The irony there is like, who do you have to brandish a firearm at in order to get some things done? And it's like, well, John Deere is literally going to just take care of that.
You're gonna get visited by the cops now. Just like that phrase was not the one.
An armored tractor. It's like you're driving in the rear view and there's an armored tractor. It's like, wow, that's weird. What are they doing there?
All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.